Nitya Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtike Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Dinabandhu Jagatpati
Gopi
Gopika Kanta Dhakanta Namasute Tapata Kanchan Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Hari Krishna Sute Devi Pranamami Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna
Krishna Krishnaya Prathamya
Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi
Gauravani Pracharini
Viseshasha
Sunyavada
Deshatari Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavan
Nobhyo Vaishnobhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Varanda Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from the Canto 3, Chapter 6, Text 8. Esha hi ashesha sattvanam Mamsha Paramatmanaha Adyo Avataro Yatra So Bhuta Gramo Vibhavyate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The gigantic universal form of the Lord is the first incarnation and plenary portion of the Supersoul. He is the self of an unlimited number of living entities, and him rests the aggregate creation which thus flourishes. The Supreme Lord expands himself in two ways, by personal plenary expansions and separated minute expansions. The personal plenary expansions are Vishnu Tattvas, and the separated expansions are living entities. So here our position is clearly mentioned, that Krishna expands in two ways. One is his personal expansion, Vishnu Tattva. He has many, many incarnations, expansions, Balaramji, Vishnu, all the various Vishnus, the Narayan, Matsya, Kurma, Narsimhadev, Lord Ramachandra. They are all Vishnu Tattva. They are his personal expansions. And then, who are we, the Jiva Tattva? We are separated minute expansions of Krishna. So we are not Krishna, we are his separated expansions. We are his part and parcel. Since the living entities are very small, they are sometimes described as the marginal energy of the Lord. But the mystic yogis consider the living entities and the Supersoul Paramatma to be one and the same. It is, however, a minor point of controversy. After all, everything created rests on the gigantic Virat or universal form of the Lord. So there are some yogis, the mystic yogis, they think that the Jivatma and Paramatma is the same. But we are not the same. We are separated. We are separated expansions of Krishna. We are not the one who's entered into each and every atom of the universe. We are not the one who's maintaining and creating the universe. That is the Paramatma. Krishna and his Paramatma feature is doing that. We are very, very tiny, insignificant. Yes, we are parts of Krishna, we are expansions of Krishna, but we are very minute in size. We do not have the capacity to be the Paramatma, to enter into everyone's heart and to enter into every atom. Is that okay?
Yes, we are in the same quality, but not in quantity.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. Yesterday we were discussing about some, you know, how we get so many forwards on social media, and but then most of them have the wrong conclusion that the soul and super soul is the same. So we were discussing on one such message that I received. And so we should be very careful of what we are reading and what we are believing in, because not everything that we receive on social media, if it contains the word God or soul, is true. You know, many times it's just made up by people who themselves don't understand about this. So we should be careful of that. Reading on text 9. Sadhyatma sadhi devascha sadhi bhuta iti tridha virat prano dasha vidha ekada hridayena cha. The gigantic universal form is represented by 3, 10, and 1 in the sense that he is the body and the mind and the senses. He is the dynamic force for all movements by 10 kinds of life energy. And he is the one heart where life energy is generated. So why so much detailed explanation is given of the Virat Purusha is because many of us don't understand that Krishna has a separate form. He is a person and he has a separate form. Like sometimes people will come to the temple who are not of Indian background, and then they will be amazed, what is this dolls? And you tell them, oh, this is the form of the Lord. Really? But they're not able to understand. But if they go in the nature, they see a big banyan tree, or they see the vast sky, or you know, the ocean, then they are able to understand, yes, this is the activity of God, that God has created it. So to remove all the, to help us understand what is Krishna's position in the creation, what is our position in creation, and what is the creation all about, Sukadev Goswami is giving such a detailed description of this Virat Purusha, of the universal form, which is actually a temporary form. And it is not a gross form, it is subtle. It is just that all the things that we are seeing is inside the body of Krishna, in the sense that they are all made by Krishna. So in Bhagavad Gita 7.4-5, it is stated that the 8 elements, earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego are all products of the Lord's inferior energy, whereas the living entities who are seen to utilize the inferior energy originally belong to the superior energy, the internal potency of the Lord. So this material energy, what is it made of? It's made of these 8 elements. And what are these 8 elements? Earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And this is Krishna's inferior energy. She is Krishna's separated energy. And we, the Jivatma, who are trying to control this material energy, who are trying to be the controllers, who are trying to be God, we actually belong to the superior energy of Krishna. The 8 inferior energies work grossly and subtly, whereas the superior energy works as the central generating force. This is experienced in the human body. The gross elements, namely earth, etc., form the external gross body and are like a coat, whereas the subtle mind and false ego act like the inner clothing of the body. So we, the soul, we are there. And then we have the inner clothes. That inner clothes is, the example is given, is like how we have the mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then we wear our outside clothes. That is compared to the gross body, to the body that we can see. So we have 2 kinds of bodies. One is the body that we can see, and another one is what we cannot see, which is comprised of mind, intelligence, and false ego. So at death, we all have the experience that we give up this gross body, but we have not given our subtle body. Our subtle body remains with us till the time we are in the material world. And it is inside this subtle body that all our samskars, all our impressions are stored, and life after life. So at the time of death, what happens is that the soul, which is covered by the subtle body, and the super soul, then we are transferred into another gross body, depending on our desire and our karma. But if we are liberated, we have become purified, our destination is to go back to Vaikuntha, then what happens is, it's just the pure soul, no need for the subtle body, because we don't have a subtle body in the spiritual world, and no need even for the Paramatma. Why? Because the Lord is there face to face in Vaikuntha with us. We can see him in the various Vaikuntha planets, or in Golok Vrindavan, which is the highest planet in the spiritual world. Krishna himself is there. So the pure soul goes there, has a spiritual body, has a spiritual form, and then engages in so many different loving pastimes. So the movements of the body are first generated from the heart, and all the activities of the body are made possible by the senses, powered by the 10 kinds of air within the body. The 10 kinds of air are described as follows. The main air passing through the nose in breathing is called pran. The air, so the life breath, the air that we need to breathe, otherwise we feel, oh, I can't breathe, I'm going to die. That is pran. The air which passes through the rectum as evacuated bodily air is called apan. The air which adjusts the foodstuff within the stomach and which sometimes sounds as belching is called saman. The air which passes through the throat and the stoppage of which constitute suffocation is called the udan air. And the total air which circulates throughout the entire body is called the vyan air. Subtler than these 5 airs, there are others also, that which facilitates the opening of the eyes, mouth, etc., is called nag air. The air which increases appetite is called krakar air. The air which helps contraction is called kurma air. The air which helps relaxation by opening the mouth wide in yawning is called Devadatta air. And the air which helps sustenance is called Dhananjaya air. Wow, so there are 10 kinds of airs in our body. All these airs are generated from the center of the heart, which is only one, which is one only. This central energy is superior energy of the Lord, who is seated within the heart with the soul of the body, who acts under the guidance of the Lord. So where is all this energy coming from? It's coming from the Paramatma, superior energy of the Lord, who is seated within the heart with the soul of the body. So inside this body of ours, we have a subtle heart, not this gross heart, but the subtle heart. Over there, the soul and the super soul are sitting. There are two of us. One is we ourselves, the living entity, the soul, and next to us is the super soul, the Paramatma. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 15.15 as follows. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto matasmitir jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. The complete central force is generated from the heart by the Lord, who is seated there and who helps the conditioned soul in remembering and forgetting. The conditioned state is due to the soul's forgetfulness of his relationship of subordination to the Lord. One who wants to continue to forget the Lord is helped by the Lord to forget him birth after birth. But one who remembers him by dint of association with a devotee of the Lord is helped to remember him more and more. Thus, the conditioned soul can ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. So it depends on our desire. What is our desire? Do we want to remember Krishna or do we want to forget him? Do we want to actually understand the truth, or do we want to still continue to believe that we are God? So if we continue to believe we are God, Krishna will help us to forget him, and he will give us that he will still keep putting us in Maya, with which we keep thinking, oh, I'm the controller, I'm the enjoyer, I'm God. You know. So, but if we want to remember him, he helps us and we can go back home, back to Godhead. This process of transcendental help by the Lord is described in Bhagavad Gita 10.10 as follows. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. The Buddhi Yoga process of self-realization with intelligence, transcendental to the mind, devotional service, can alone elevate one from the conditioned state of material entanglement in the cosmic construction. So there are many processes. People adopt many different ways for purification to control mind and senses. But the only way that we can actually get out of this material world, the true liberation in that sense, is, and the true self-realization, that is engaging in bhakti alone, devotional service alone, only by that. And what does devotional service start? By hearing and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, hearing as we are hearing from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The conditioned state of the living entity is like that of a person who is within the depths of a huge mechanical arrangement. The mental speculators can reach the point of Buddhi Yoga after many, many lifetimes of speculation. But the intelligent person who begins from the platform of intelligence above the mind makes rapid progress in self-realization. So then it depends that we want to take, we have to come to the point of surrendering to Krishna. It is our choice. When do we want to do it? And what is the meaning of surrendering to Krishna? Engaging in bhakti. So, but it is our choice. Krishna does not interfere with that. Do we want to engage now in bhakti, or we want to try to understand with our mind, our mental capability, try to understand what's the truth, try to understand what's happening. And then that takes a long time. It will take millions of years, births, many, many lifetimes. And then we will still come to that same conclusion that all the Vedas are saying, that engage in bhakti to Krishna, surrender to Krishna. So because the Buddhi Yoga process entails no fear of deterioration or retrogression at any time, it is the guaranteed path to self-realization as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.40. So Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, it is a guaranteed process that we will have self-realization. And it is the shortest, the fastest, and the surest process. The mental speculators cannot understand that the two birds, Shvetasvatara Upanishad, sitting in one tree, are the soul and the super soul. So the Shveteshvara Upanishad, it explains how the Jivatma and the Paramatma are sitting in the same body. So the analogy is given that there are two birds sitting on a tree. One bird, so let's read. The individual soul eats the fruit of the tree, while the other bird does not eat the fruit, but only observes the activities of the eating bird. Without attachment, the witnessing bird helps the fruit-eating bird perform fruitful activities. One who cannot understand this difference between the soul and the supersoul, or God and the living entities, is certainly still in the entanglement of the cosmic machinery, and thus must still await the time when he will be free from bondage. So the Shveteshvara Upanishad says that there are two birds in a tree, and one bird is busy eating the fruits, enjoying the fruits. Some fruits are bitter, so he's suffering with those fruits, and some fruits are sweet, so he's enjoying. And the other bird is just recording all his activities, the other bird. And so who's the bird that is eating the fruits? That is the Jivatma, the soul, that is us. And then the bird sitting next to us, that is the super soul, Paramatma. That's Krishna. So this is a very important point to understand, that there is a difference between the Paramatma and the Jivatma. We are the Jivatma and Krishna is the Paramatma. Is that okay?
Yes. But why does it say that without attachment, the witnessing bird helps
So
helps individuals, the bird to do.
So because actually we are actually helpless. We think we are doing everything, you know. We think, oh, I can lift my hand, I can blink my eyes, I can do this work, I can do that work. But everything is arranged because the Paramatma is there. So the Paramatma gives the sanction. The Jivatma desires, we desire. And so the Paramatma gives the sanction. And then the demigods who are in charge of the different bodily movements or of the whatever external circumstances, then they help. And that's how we are able to do any activity.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, and everything is done so fast and so smooth that it's so like, it feels so automatic. And so we think, okay, I'm doing it, you know. I'm doing it. And so everything is based on our desire. Whatever is our desire. Krishna is not Krishna, of course, he wants us to come back, but we keep having this desire. No, wait, I will come back, but later. Let me try this first. Let me try that first. And so he does not interfere in that free will of ours. Is that okay?
Yeah. And also another thing I just want to confirm, it's so that when the soul leaves the body, so the mind, intelligence, and false ego goes along with the soul.
Yes.
Okay. The subtle body, right?
Yes. And that is what is, because since time immemorial, the subtle body is with us. And so when we say, oh, everybody's going to die, we're like, okay, whatever. So because we have already know that, okay, this body, we are going to keep giving up, but the subtle body remains with us. We have not let that go. And liberation means to dissolve this subtle body. And how can we dissolve it? Is only by spiritualizing it. When the mind becomes totally spiritual, when the false ego turns into the true ego, that I am eternal servant of Krishna. And then our mind is only fixed in devotional service. That's the only way we can give up this subtle body.
That's why they say, like many times I've heard, like nothing you get, nothing goes with you. Only Naam goes with you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes, it's true.
So as much as you chant, that will go with you.
Yes. Yeah. Because to that degree, our consciousness is already cleared, no? Our mind and our thoughts to that degree has been purified. Okay. So that, to the degree that we have already cleaned it, that will still stay. Our consciousness. And so that's the reason we should try to take maximum we should try to clean our consciousness in this life. Because if suppose we don't, then in the next life, even though the circumstances are different, circumstances will be different. But because our consciousness, the way I'm thinking right now, is the way I'm thinking. So in the next life, even if the circumstances are different, I will still continue to think and act in the same way. So then how did I improve?
True. So inner purification is very important.
Yeah.
And that conscious, as you mentioned, that we need to purify a conscious. So that is only by chanting and bhakti.
Yeah, that's only the permanent way that we can clean the consciousness. That's the only permanent way. Because what happens is, by doing other mental control, sense control, mind control, we can control the mind and senses for a certain time. But the desire seeds are still inside the consciousness, inside the heart. And those seeds are just going to wait to fructify. Those desires will come to the surface. It's a matter of time only. But
so it's the sanskars, you mean, the impression.
Some scars, the impressions. But what happens is that when we have a material desire, so we act on the desire, right? But it's not as simple. With that, it creates further desires to act on material desires. So those seeds are there. Then it's like it's like a chain then, that, okay, I'm just acting on my material desire, but because of this, there are so many more other desires being created. They are lying in the form of seeds. And those can be burnt only by chanting, not by any other process. No amount of dhan, punya, karma, meditation, that cannot be gone. We might temporarily may be able to control it, but it's temporary. It's not like a permanent solution.
And can you please explain a little with those two birds, in the sense that our desire. So some, like, people are confused that if it is your desire, like if you are desiring anything and then Krishna is just sanctioning, then why he's sanctioning the things which are not good?
So,
can you please like how we can explain to others, and for some better qualification with like some better explanation with some example or something like that?
So Prabhupada would always say that there is a father and a child. Now the child is keeping on crying, I want a candy. The father realizes, okay, had his enough quota, but he's still continuing to cry. So it's not good for him. So the father says, no, it's okay. You already had enough, don't have it. But the child is throwing a great tantrum. I want it, anyhow, I want it. So then what will the father do? He says, okay, take it. So the Paramatma in the heart is trying to give us good counsel, but we ignore that good counsel. And because our desire, the material desires are so strong, we don't hear the good counsel of the Paramatma, but we just want what we want the way we want it. And so Krishna, he does not interfere in our independence, our free will. Because of his unconditional love for us, he does not force us that, no, you must listen to me, because then there is no question of unconditional love. Then that becomes like a force. So because we have these such strong desires, we do not listen to his counsel, to his advice. And then he says, okay, well, you really want it so much, then, do it then. Like that. It's like when the child is small, the father still tells the child what to do, what not to do, and then the child listens. But when the child is older, then he's become an adult. So he's like, I don't care about you. I will do whatever I want. I'm an adult. I can do the things. Then what does the father say? Okay, although I don't agree with it, but because the father loves the son, so he says, okay, just do whatever you want to do then. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So everything is based on our desire. We tend to throw that responsibility to others. We throw that responsibility to God, that you are the cause of my suffering, or this one is the cause of my suffering, or that one is the cause of my suffering. But it's all our desire. Because of how we have acted in the past, we don't even know, we don't remember those things, right? In the different lifetimes, how we have acted. And but some suffering are from this very life because we acted in a certain way, and some are from our past life. So we should purify our desire and desire that, let me just go back home, back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world, back to Golok Vrindavan, and just try to somehow or the other increase that desire by hearing and chanting in the association of devotees. And because Krishna, he's fulfilling, he's Bhakta Vatsal, or any desire he's fulfilling. So why will he not fulfill this desire also? Yeah. So is that okay?
Yes.
So
we are responsible for our own, whatever is happening with us, we are responsible for it.
Yes, that's the reason they say that man creates his own destiny. We are creating our own destiny. We are creating by our our activities, our thoughts, our future body is already being created by the subtle mind. Because whatever is the situation of the mind, based on that, we will get the next body. So we should try to purify our mind so our next body is a spiritual body, not this material body. because the material body is full of ignorance and full of suffering, but the spiritual body is full of joy and happiness. And that's our true body, that's our original body, the spiritual body. Yeah, we are responsible, you know. We are creating our destiny. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Because each moment we have this free will, this choice. Each moment we have this choice. Do I choose Krishna? Do I look towards Krishna, or do I turn away from Krishna? And then based on that, our future is being created. That's our only choice, actually.
I have felt one thing, that as you mentioned, that we turn away from Krishna, or we choose Krishna, or we turn away. But still Krishna is so kind that even when we turn away, he's not ready to give up on us. Though, like, see, we are in this material world and we are in the world of Maya that is so difficult to get out of. It is not easy. The moment I think that, oh my God, I'm doing something, I'm out of Maya, the Maya just gets on harder. The clutches are harder on you because you are thinking that you are out of it. It's not impacting you. And the clutches get harder, and there's a test, and you definitely fail in it. Because in that heart, you have that desire that, oh, I'm out. But you cannot do that until you are keeping Krishna. Krishna, help me. But Krishna never leaves you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Krishna never leaves you.
Yes.
No matter, even if I turn away,
yes,
sometime, but Krishna never leaves, I think.
Yes, no, you think. It's true. Just now, as we are reading, that there are two souls, no? One is the super soul. We are the soul, and right next to us, Krishna is sitting in our heart. So he never leaves us. Doesn't matter whatever is our desire, whatever body we are taking, he never leaves us. That's the reason there is one soul and one super soul. That super soul is Krishna, the Paramatma. Paramatma feature. And then the more we want to know Krishna, then he personally looks into us, not only in his Paramatma feature, but he, the person Krishna, he helps us when we are trying to understand him, when we are trying to reach him. You know, so a devotee should always be confident of Krishna's protection. Actually, each of every one of us should be confident of Krishna's protection. It's just that we don't want to, you know, because Krishna is in each of us.
Right.
Krishna is in each and everyone's heart. He's not saying that I'm only in the heart of the demigods, not in the heart of the demons. No, he's in the heart of everyone. Every living entity belongs to Krishna. And so each of us he's helping. We just have to say, Krishna, please help me, please protect me. And he's always ready.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaurav Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.